Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1, 1961. She was born in a big house called Park House. Park House was in Norfolk, in the east of England. The house was near the royal family's home, Sandringham. Diana did not know it yet, but this was important for her future. Diana's father was John Spencer, Viscount Althorp. Her mother was Frances Roche. Diana had 3 siblings, 2 older sisters, Sarah and Jane, and 1 younger brother, Charles. Her family was part of the British nobility. They were not the royal family, but they were close to them. From the beginning, Diana's life was not always happy. Her parents had many problems in their marriage. When Diana was very young, they separated. Later, they divorced. This made Diana feel sad and lonely. She loved her father and her mother, but they did not live together. Diana lived mostly with her father. Her father tried to give his children love and care. Still, the home was sometimes quiet and cold. Diana missed her mother. She often wished her parents could be happy together. These feelings stayed with her for many years. Diana as a little girl. Diana was a shy girl. She had big blue eyes and blonde hair. People often said she looked sweet. She was tall for her age and had a kind smile. Even when she was very young, people liked her gentle nature. She enjoyed playing outside. She liked animals, especially horses. She also liked swimming and dancing. She loved music and dreamed of becoming a ballerina. She was not the best student in school, but she worked hard. Teachers said she was polite and friendly. Diana cared about other people. If someone was sad, Diana wanted to help. If someone was lonely, Diana wanted to be their friend. Even as a child, she had a big heart. School years. Diana first went to a small school in Norfolk. Later, she went to a boarding school called Riddlesworth Hall School. Boarding school means she lived at school during the term. At first, it was difficult. She missed home, and she missed her family. But she made new friends. After that, she studied at Westheath School in Kent. Diana was not very good at exams. Math and science were hard for her. But she was good at sports, swimming, and dancing. Teachers liked her positive spirit. Friends liked her kindness. Diana did not go to university. She left school when she was 16 years old. This was common for some young women in Britain at the time, especially in noble families. Teenage years. After leaving school, Diana moved to London. She shared a flat with friends. She started to learn how to live as an adult. She had small jobs. She worked as a nanny, helping with children. She also worked as a teacher in a kindergarten. She liked this very much. Children loved her. She was patient, fun, and loving. At this time, Diana also cleaned houses for money. She was not afraid of hard work. Even though she came from a noble family, she lived simply. She cooked her own food, washed her own clothes, and took the bus like other young women. This part of her life was very important. It showed that Diana could live like ordinary people. Later, many people in Britain loved her for this. They said, "She is like us. She understands us." Connection to the royal family. Even as a child, Diana had a connection to the royal family. Her family rented their house from Queen Elizabeth II. Diana and her siblings sometimes played with the royal children, including Prince Andrew and Prince Edward. Her older sister, Lady Sarah Spencer, even dated Prince Charles for a short time. Because of this, Diana sometimes met Charles. At that time, she was just a teenager. She did not think of him as her future husband. But the connection was there. Her personality. When Diana was young, she already showed the qualities that later made her famous. She was kind, she was shy, but she was also strong. She wanted love and gave love. She cared about children, about people in need, and about those who were sad or lonely. Life was not always easy. Her parents' divorce hurt her deeply. But instead of becoming cold, Diana became more caring. She understood pain, and she wanted to help others who felt pain too. A young woman ready for the future. By the time Diana was 18, she was tall, beautiful, and graceful. She still loved dancing. She still loved children. She had dreams of a simple life. But her life was about to change in a way she could not imagine. In London, she was close to the royal family. She was also close to Prince Charles, who was looking for a wife. Diana's gentle heart and sweet smile soon caught his attention. But that story belongs to the next chapter. When Diana was a teenager, her life started to change. She was no longer a little girl. She was growing into a young woman. She was still shy, but she also had more dreams. She wanted to dance, to care for children, and to live a good life. Diana and her love for dancing. From a very young age, Diana loved dancing. She wanted to be a ballerina. She took lessons in ballet. She practiced for many hours. She loved the music, the movement, and the beauty of dance. But Diana grew very tall. She became taller than many dancers. Her teachers told her she could not become a professional ballerina. This made Diana sad, but she did not stop dancing. She still enjoyed it in her free time. Dance was her way to feel happy and free. Later in her life, even as a princess, she sometimes danced for fun. She once danced on stage as a surprise for Prince Charles. People saw her and said, "She has so much grace and heart." School difficulties. Diana was not very strong in her studies. She did not like exams. Mathematics and science were very hard for her. Reading long books was also difficult. But she was very good at sports, swimming, and music. She was also good at making friends. Many girls at school liked Diana because she was kind. She did not make fun of other people. She always tried to help. Teachers said Diana was not the best student, but she was polite and respectful. She always tried to do her best, even when she failed. Leaving school. At the age of 16, Diana left Westheath School. For a short time, she went to a finishing school in Switzerland. It was called Institut Alpenweidmanet. This school was for young women from rich or noble families. They learned French, cooking, dancing, and how to behave in society. Diana did not stay long. She returned to England after only a few months. She wanted to do something more useful. Moving to London. At 17, Diana moved to London. This was a big step. London was a busy city. It was full of people, cars, buses, and tall buildings. For Diana, London was exciting but also scary. She did not live in a palace. She lived in a small flat with 3 friends. The flat was given to her by her parents. It was simple, not luxurious. Diana cleaned the flat, cooked meals, and lived like many young women of her age. She liked this life. She liked being independent. She liked going to the supermarket, taking the bus, and walking down the street like everyone else. Diana's jobs. In London, Diana had to work. She wanted to earn money for her own needs. She had several jobs. Nanny. Diana worked as a nanny for American and British families. She looked after children, played with them, and helped them learn. The children loved her because she was patient, warm, and funny. Kindergarten assistant, she worked in a kindergarten in London. She read books to small children, sang songs, and helped them with games. Diana loved this job very much. She said she wanted to work with children forever. Cleaning and cooking, for extra money, she cleaned houses. She also cooked meals for some families. She was not afraid of simple work. These jobs gave Diana a normal life. She was not only a noble lady. She was also a worker. This later made people love her more, because they felt she was close to ordinary life. Friends and social life. Diana had many friends in London. She liked to go out with them, to have coffee or dinner, to laugh and talk. She was shy with strangers, but with friends she was warm and open. She did not like big parties with many famous people. She liked small groups, where she could feel safe. She was never proud or arrogant. She always remembered her simple jobs and her normal flat. Her friends said Diana was funny. She could laugh at herself. She liked jokes and music. She was often cheerful, even when she had worries inside. Diana's kindness. Even as a teenager, Diana was full of kindness. She always noticed when someone felt sad. If a friend cried, Diana hugged her. If a child was lonely, Diana gave time and love. This kindness was part of Diana's heart. It was natural. She did not do it to look good. She really cared. Later, when she became Princess Diana, this kindness was the same. People called her the People's Princess because of this heart. Connection to Prince Charles. During her teenage years, Diana sometimes saw Prince Charles. He was much older than her, 13 years older. At first, Diana did not think of him as a future husband. She thought of him as her sister Sarah's boyfriend, because her older sister dated Charles for some time. But Charles noticed Diana's sweet smile and gentle spirit. At that time, he was under pressure to marry. The royal family wanted him to find a young, kind, and noble woman. Diana seemed perfect. Still, in these years, Diana was just living her normal London life. She had no idea how much her world would change soon. Dreams of the future. As a young woman, Diana dreamed of a simple future. She wanted to work with children. She wanted to maybe marry a kind man and have a family. She did not dream of being a princess. She did not dream of living in a palace. Her dream was to love and be loved. That was all. But destiny had another plan. Soon, her life would become the most famous story in the world. This shy nanny from London was about to marry the future King of England. Prince Charles was born in 1948. He was the son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. From birth, people knew he would one day be king. This gave him a life very different from other children. Charles grew up in palaces, castles, and special schools. He was always in the public eye. He studied at Cambridge University. He served in the Royal Navy. By the late 1970s, he was in his early 30s. At this time, the royal family wanted him to marry. People wanted a young, pure, and kind woman to be his wife. Many eyes were watching Charles. Everyone wanted to know who he would choose. Diana's first meetings with Charles. Diana first met Prince Charles when she was a teenager. She was 16 years old. Her sister, Lady Sarah, was dating Charles at that time. Charles came to visit the Spencer family home, Althorpe, and also Sandringham, which was near their house. Diana remembered Charles as polite but serious. She was shy around him. She never thought she would one day marry him. Charles was friendly to Diana, but at that time, she was just a young girl to him. He was much older, already 29. The second meeting. In 1977, Diana saw Charles again. She was still a schoolgirl. Charles was visiting with Lady Sarah. He noticed Diana's sweet smile. She spoke to him with kindness and respect. Later, Diana said she thought Charles was very sad after the death of his uncle, Lord Mountbatten, who was very close to him. She wanted to comfort him. She said to Charles, "You looked like you needed someone to cheer you up." Charles remembered this. A growing friendship. After this, Charles and Diana saw each other sometimes at events. At first, their friendship was simple. Charles liked Diana's gentle and innocent spirit. She was not like other women around him. Many of them were older, from high society, and sometimes too serious. Diana was different. She was young, cheerful, and full of life. She loved children. She loved dancing and music. Charles saw her as fresh and pure. The royal family's opinion. The royal family also noticed Diana. She came from a noble family, the Spencers. Her family was close to the royal family. She was young, kind, and had no past scandals. This was very important for the royals. They wanted Charles to marry a woman who could be a good queen one day. Diana seemed perfect. Courtship. In 1980, Charles invited Diana to spend time with him. She went to Balmoral Castle in Scotland, where the royal family stayed in summer. The Queen and Prince Philip met her and liked her. Diana was nervous, but she was polite and respectful. She tried hard to be friendly with everyone. The family approved of her. Soon, Charles began to see Diana more seriously. They went to events together. The media started to notice. Reporters began to write about the romance. Photographers followed Diana everywhere. Diana and the press. Diana was not used to this attention. She was a shy young woman who lived a quiet life before. Now, every time she went out, cameras were waiting. Reporters shouted questions. Photographers ran after her. Sometimes Diana cried because of this. She said she could not go shopping or meet friends without people watching. But she also understood this was part of Charles's world. Still, she tried to stay calm. She kept smiling, even when she felt nervous inside. Charles proposes. In February 1981, Prince Charles asked Diana to marry him. They were in the nursery at Windsor Castle, where Charles played as a child. Charles said, "Will you marry me?" Diana said, "Yes, of course." She was only 19 years old. Charles was 32. The news was announced on February 24, 1981. The world was excited. Newspapers and television showed Diana's face everywhere. People said she looked shy but beautiful. The engagement ring. Charles gave Diana a special ring. It had a large blue sapphire stone surrounded by diamonds. Today, this ring is famous. It is now worn by Catherine, Princess of Wales, the wife of Prince William. At the time, some people said it was unusual. Diana chose the ring from a jeweler's catalog, not a custom royal design. But Diana loved it. She thought it was perfect. The famous interview. After the engagement, Charles and Diana gave a television interview. Reporters asked them questions about their love. Diana smiled shyly. She said she was happy and excited. Charles was more serious. When asked if they were in love, Diana said, "Of course." Charles answered, "Whatever in love means." This answer surprised many people. Some thought it showed Charles was not deeply in love. But at the time, most people ignored it. They only wanted to celebrate the young couple. Public reaction. The people of Britain were full of joy. They loved Diana's sweet face, her shy eyes, and her gentle voice. She seemed like a fairy tale princess. Crowds cheered when they saw her. Newspapers called her Shy D. Little girls dreamed of being like her. The royal family was also pleased. They believed Diana would be a good wife for Charles and a good princess for the people. Diana's feelings. Diana was both happy and scared. She loved Charles, or at least thought she did. She wanted to be a good wife. She wanted to make the royal family proud. But she was also only 19. She was leaving her normal life behind. No more simple jobs, no more small flat with friends. Instead, she would live in palaces, with cameras watching her every move. Deep inside, she felt nervous. She hoped Charles truly loved her. She hoped she could handle the pressure. A wedding to come. The engagement was only the beginning. Soon, the world would see the biggest wedding of the century. The shy young woman from Park House would become Princess Diana. But before that day, Diana had to learn how to live in the royal world. She had to learn rules, traditions, and how to behave in front of millions. Her life was about to change forever. Excitement in Britain. After the engagement of Diana and Prince Charles was announced in February 1981, the whole of Britain was excited. People could not stop talking about it. Every newspaper had Diana's picture. Every television show spoke about her. Shops sold cups, plates, and posters with her face. Children put pictures of Diana on their walls. It was like a fairy tale. A young, shy girl was about to marry a real prince. People said it was the wedding of the century. Diana moves to the palace. Before the wedding, Diana moved into Clarence House and later Buckingham Palace. This was her first time living in the royal family's world. At the palace, life was very different. There were many rules. Diana had to learn how to walk, how to bow, how to speak in public, and how to act at events. She also had to get used to security. Guards followed her everywhere. She could no longer walk to the shop alone. At first, this made her feel trapped. The pressure of the press. The press followed Diana day and night. Reporters wanted to know what she ate, what she wore, where she went. Photographers stood outside her home. Sometimes Diana cried because of this. She had no privacy. She was only 19, and suddenly millions of eyes were on her. But she tried to stay strong. She smiled in public and showed kindness. Choosing the dress. One of the most important parts of the wedding was the wedding dress. Designers David and Elizabeth Emanuel were asked to make it. They created a beautiful ivory silk gown with lace and pearls. It had a very long train, 25 feet, 7.6 meters long. This train became one of the most famous parts of the dress. The dress was secret until the wedding day. People were curious. Newspapers tried to guess how it would look. But no one knew until Diana stepped out of the carriage. The big day. The wedding took place on July 29, 1981. The place was St. Paul's Cathedral in London. This church was huge and could hold thousands of people. More than 3,500 guests came inside the cathedral. They included kings, queens, presidents, and famous people from all over the world. But even more people watched outside. On the streets of London, more than 600,000 people stood and waited. They waved flags, sang songs, and cheered. And on television, it was even bigger. Around 750 million people around the world watched the wedding. It was one of the most watched events in history. The arrival. On the morning of the wedding, Diana left Clarence House in a glass carriage. She was with her father, Earl Spencer. Crowds cheered as the carriage moved slowly to St. Paul's Cathedral. When Diana stepped out, people gasped. Her dress was even more beautiful than they imagined. The long train flowed behind her like a river of silk. She looked nervous but also very graceful. People said she looked like a true fairy tale princess. The ceremony. Inside the cathedral, music played. The world watched as Diana walked down the long aisle. Her veil covered her face. Her father walked beside her. At the altar, Prince Charles waited in his military uniform. He looked serious but proud. The couple said their vows. Diana made a small mistake. She mixed the order of Charles's names. People smiled because it showed her human side. Another surprise was that Diana chose not to promise to obey her husband in the vows. This was unusual at the time. It showed that Diana was independent. When the ceremony ended, Charles and Diana were husband and wife. The famous kiss. After the wedding, Charles and Diana went to Buckingham Palace. They stood on the balcony with the royal family. Crowds filled the streets below. People shouted, "Kiss! Kiss!" Charles and Diana turned to each other and kissed. It was a short kiss, but it became one of the most famous moments in royal history. Photographs of that kiss were printed all over the world. The wedding cake and celebrations. The wedding cake was huge. It was more than 5 feet tall and decorated with royal symbols. There were also many smaller cakes for guests. After the ceremony, there was a big party at the palace. Guests ate, drank, and celebrated. People danced, laughed, and congratulated the couple. For the public, street parties were everywhere in Britain. Families decorated their homes with flags. Neighbors shared food and drinks. It was a day of joy. Honeymoon. After the wedding, Charles and Diana went on a honeymoon. First, they stayed at Bravlands, the home of Lord Mountbatten, who was very close to Charles. Then they traveled on the royal yacht Britannia for a long sea journey. They also spent time in Scotland, at Balmoral Castle. From the outside, it looked perfect. The prince and princess were smiling and happy. But inside, things were more complicated. Charles and Diana were very different people. But at this time, the world did not see the problems. The world's reaction. The wedding was called the most magical event of the century. Newspapers wrote, "A fairy tale came true." Children dreamed of being princesses like Diana. People in many countries admired her. She was young, beautiful, and kind. Diana became an instant star. She was not only the Princess of Wales. She was also the world's princess. Diana's feelings after the wedding. For Diana, the wedding was exciting but also overwhelming. She was only 20 years old. She was now part of the royal family, one of the most famous families in the world. She wanted to do her best. She wanted to love Charles, to be a good wife, and to serve the people. But deep inside, she also felt alone and scared. She was entering a life she did not fully understand. She hoped she would find happiness, but she was unsure. A new life begins. After the wedding, Diana became Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales. She had a new title, a new role, and a new life. Every step she took was watched. Every dress she wore was photographed. Every smile was reported in the news. For the people, she was a symbol of beauty, kindness, and hope. For Diana herself, it was the start of a very hard journey. The fairy tale wedding was only the beginning. The world believed she was happy forever. But the truth of her marriage would soon be more complicated. First years as a princess. After the wedding, Diana became Princess of Wales. She was now one of the most famous women in the world. People everywhere wanted to see her. They wanted to know what she wore, what she said, and where she went. At first, Diana felt shy. She was only 20 years old. She had no training in public life. But slowly, she learned how to smile, wave, and speak to people. She visited schools, hospitals, and charities with Charles. Crowds cheered when they saw her. Children gave her flowers. Old people held her hand. People noticed that Diana was different from other royals. She bent down to talk to children at their eye level. She touched people who were sick. She gave hugs. She smiled warmly. The world started to call her the People's Princess. Diana as a mother. In 1982, Diana gave birth to her first son, Prince William. 2 years later, in 1984, she had her second son, Prince Harry. Diana loved her boys deeply. She wanted to be a normal mother. She played with them, took them to school, and gave them hugs. She wanted them to feel love, not just duty. This was unusual in the royal family. In the past, royal children were often raised mostly by nannies. But Diana wanted to raise her boys herself. She said, "I don't want my children to grow up in a glass box." Many mothers admired her for this. They said, "She is like us. She loves her children in a real way." Diana's charity work. As princess, Diana had many royal duties. She traveled to different countries. She met presidents, queens, and important leaders. But her heart was with ordinary people. She visited hospitals, schools, and poor communities. She supported more than 100 charities. Some of the causes she cared about were AIDS patients. At a time when people were afraid of AIDS, Diana shook hands with patients without gloves. This broke the stigma and showed kindness. Landmine victims. Diana walked through dangerous fields to show the world the problem of landmines. Homeless people. She visited shelters and spoke with people who had no home. Children in need. She worked for children's hospitals and schools. People saw her kindness and said, "She cares about everyone, rich or poor." Problems in marriage. From the outside, Diana's life looked perfect: a princess, 2 sons, a beautiful home, and fame. But inside, her marriage was difficult. Charles and Diana were very different people. Charles loved quiet country life, polo, and gardening. Diana loved people, music, and city life. There were also problems of love. Charles had a close relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, even during his marriage to Diana. This made Diana very unhappy. She felt lonely, unloved, and betrayed. The media noticed the tension. Rumors grew. Diana sometimes cried in public. She admitted she had hard times. Divorce. By the early 1990s, Charles and Diana's problems were public. In 1992, they separated. In 1996, they officially divorced. After the divorce, Diana lost the title, Her Royal Highness, but she was still called Princess Diana. Even without her royal title, she continued her charity work. She said she wanted to be a queen in people's hearts, not on a throne. A new life. After the divorce, Diana had more freedom. She traveled, met new people, and continued helping charities. She was also followed by the press everywhere. Photographers chased her car, stood outside her house, and tried to take pictures of her private life. Diana said many times that this made her feel hunted. But she tried to stay strong. She focused on her sons and her charity work. The accident in Paris. On August 31, 1997, Diana was in Paris with her friend Dodi Al-Fayed. They left a hotel late at night. Their car drove fast to escape photographers. In the tunnel under the Alma Bridge, the car crashed. Diana was badly injured. She was taken to a hospital, but doctors could not save her. She died that night. She was only 36 years old. The news shocked the world. People cried in the streets. Thousands of flowers were placed outside Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace. The funeral. Diana's funeral was held on September 6, 1997. Millions of people in Britain and around the world watched on television. Her sons, William and Harry, walked behind her coffin. They were only 15 and 12 years old. The world cried with them. Speeches were made about Diana's kindness, love, and courage. People remembered her as someone who cared deeply about others. Her legacy. Even today, many years after her death, Diana is remembered with love. She changed the royal family. She showed them how to be closer to the people. She changed the world's view of kindness. She showed that hugging a sick person, shaking hands with someone with AIDS, or talking to a homeless person could bring hope. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, continue her work. They speak about mental health, about helping children, and about supporting people in need, just like their mother. People still call her the People's Princess. Conclusion. Princess Diana's life was short but powerful. She started as a shy girl in Norfolk. She became the most famous princess in the world. She lived a fairy tale wedding, but also great sadness. She gave her heart to her children and to the people. She died too young, but her light continues to shine. For many, she is not just a princess. She is a symbol of love, kindness, and hope.